My parents have always favored my sister, but now they're trying to give her my inheritance. I 28F, and I've been dealing with favoritism my whole life. I've always been the second choice in my parents' eyes, while my sister, Amanda 26F, has been their golden child. It's been like this for as long as I can remember, and now it's reached a point where I can't take it anymore. For context, my parents aren't wealthy, but they've done well for themselves. They own a small business that's been in the family for generations, and my grandparents left behind a decent inheritance when they passed away. It was always understood that my sister and I would split the inheritance equally when the time came. It wasn't a lot, but it was something to help us get started in life, pay off student loans, maybe buy a house, that sort of thing. But recently, I found out that my parents have been planning to give most of the inheritance to Amanda. Not just a little more, most of it. I didn't find this out directly from them. A few weeks ago, I was talking to my aunt, and she let it slip that Amanda was going to be getting a much larger share of the inheritance than I would. When I asked her to clarify, she said that my parents had decided to give Amanda the bulk of the money because she's had a harder time than I have. This completely blindsided me. Sure, Amanda has struggled more than I have, but that's because she's made a lot of bad decisions. She's constantly hopping from one job to another, never really sticking with anything, and she's been bailed out by my parents more times than I can count. I've always been the more independent one. I went to college, got a stable job, and have been living on my own without needing any help from them. I thought that meant I'd at least be treated fairly, but apparently, I'm being punished for not needing them as much. I confronted my parents about it a few days ago, and they didn't even deny it. They said they were giving Amanda more because she needs it and that I've always been self-sufficient. My dad actually had the nerve to tell me I should be proud of how well I've done on my own and that I don't need the money like Amanda does. When I asked them why they thought it was fair to give her more when we were both supposed to get equal shares, they just brushed it off like it wasn't a big deal. It was like all the years of favoritism were finally out in the open. I've always known they treated Amanda better, she got more attention, more praise, more help, but I guess I kept telling myself that one day, they'd recognize me for what I'd achieved. But this is the last straw. They're essentially rewarding her for being irresponsible while I get punished for being independent. I feel completely betrayed. I've worked my ass off to build a life for myself, and now they're acting like it doesn't matter because I don't need them the way Amanda does. It's not even about the money at this point, it's the principle. They've always put her first, and now they're showing me, in no uncertain terms, that she'll always be their favorite. Do I confront them again and demand my fair share, or do I just walk away from this toxic dynamic once and for all? Part of me wants to cut them out of my life completely, but another part of me feels like I'd be losing my family over something that might not be worth it. I'm so angry and hurt, and I don't know how to move forward from here. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Update 1. I wanted to come back with an update because things have taken a pretty crazy turn since my original post. First of all, thank you to everyone who reached out with advice and support. Your words helped me realize that I wasn't overreacting or being ungrateful for feeling the way I did. I've been thinking about all of this nonstop, and I decided it was time to have a serious conversation with my parents. A few days ago, I invited them over to my place so we could talk. I laid everything out for them, how I've always felt like the second choice, how it's hurt me to watch them favor Amanda over and over again, and how finding out about the inheritance was the final straw. I told them that it wasn't just about the money, it was about how they've treated me my entire life, like I was less important or less worthy of their support and attention because I didn't ask for as much. At first, they seemed genuinely surprised by how upset I was. My mom got emotional and said they never meant to make me feel that way, but then she started making excuses, saying that Amanda has always been more fragile and needed more from them. She said that as parents, it's their job to help their kids based on their needs, not just treat us exactly the same. I told her I understood that Amanda has had her struggles, but I also pointed out that I've never once gotten the same kind of support or attention from them. I've had hard times too, but I've had to figure things out on my own because they were too focused on fixing Amanda's problems. My dad chimed in, saying that I should be proud of my independence, that it's a sign of my strength. But to me, it just felt like another way of brushing off my feelings. I told him that it's not about pride, it's about fairness. Why should I be punished for not needing them as much when I've worked hard to get to where I am? And then, they dropped another bombshell. They admitted that they've already given Amanda a significant chunk of the inheritance. They said they've been giving her money over the years to help her out, and that's why she'll be getting less in the future. They said that they thought it made sense to help her when she needed it, and that when the rest of the inheritance was divided, it would be fair because I hadn't needed as much financial help before. I was furious. They didn't even tell me they were giving her the money, They just did it behind my back, and now they're acting like that's a justification for giving her more. I felt so betrayed, like they've been secretly favoring her this whole time while I've been left in the dark. I told them that this wasn't just about the money anymore, it was about trust. I don't trust them to be fair, and I don't trust them to see me as their equal when it comes to how they treat us. My mom started crying, saying that I was being unfair, that they've done their best with both of us. But I stood my ground. I told them that I needed time away from them to figure out how I want to move forward. So, that's where we're at now. I've decided to take a step back from my relationship with my parents. I need space to process everything and figure out if I even want to be part of their lives anymore. It's heartbreaking because, despite everything, they're still my family. But I can't keep putting myself in a position where I'm constantly being treated like I don't matter as much as Amanda. Thank you again, Reddit, for helping me see that my feelings were valid. I'll keep you updated as things progress, but for now, I'm focusing on healing and trying to rebuild my self-worth. Update 2. Hey Reddit, I'm back with another update, and things have taken yet another turn. After deciding to take a step back from my parents, I've had some time to reflect on everything, and it's been both eye-opening and painful. First of all, I haven't spoken to my parents since that last conversation, and it's been weird, to say the least. They've called and texted a few times, but I've been keeping my distance. It feels strange not to be in constant contact with them, but at the same time, it's been a relief. I don't have to constantly compare myself to Amanda or feel like I'm not living up to their expectations. The space has been good for me, and I'm starting to feel like I'm regaining control over my own life. But here's where things get complicated. About a week ago, Amanda called me out of the blue. I hadn't spoken to her since all of this blew up, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to hear from her. But curiosity got the better of me, so I picked up. Amanda was surprisingly calm, almost too calm, and she asked if we could meet up to talk. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I agreed. We met up at a coffee shop, and after some awkward small talk, she got straight to the point. She told me that she knew about the inheritance situation and that she didn't think it was fair either. I was shocked. This was the first time Amanda had ever acknowledged the favoritism. She admitted that our parents have always treated her differently, but she said she never asked for it and that it's made her feel guilty for years. She said she doesn't want to be the reason our family falls apart and that she's willing to talk to our parents about splitting everything equally. At first, I was relieved. Finally, Amanda was on my side. But then she dropped another bombshell. She told me that our parents had been secretly giving her money for years, even more than they had originally told me. They've been paying off her debts, covering her rent when she was unemployed, and even helped her buy a car, all while telling me that everything would be divided fairly. She said she felt horrible about it and didn't want to keep taking their money, but she was scared of disappointing them. Hearing this hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew they favored her, but I had no idea they'd been bailing her out this much. It felt like they had been lying to me for years, pretending like we were equals when, in reality, they were pouring all their resources into Amanda. I asked her why she didn't say anything sooner, and she admitted that she was scared. Scared that if she told the truth, they would stop helping her, or worse, that she'd lose their support altogether. She said she's always felt like she couldn't live up to their expectations and that the money was their way of keeping her dependent on them. I didn't know what to say. On one hand, I felt sorry for her. I get it, our parents have always put this insane pressure on her to be perfect, and it's clearly messed with her head. But on the other hand, I'm furious. She let this go on for years, knowing that I was being left out in the cold. She knew I wasn't getting the same support, and she didn't say anything. We ended the conversation on tense terms. I told her I needed time to process everything and that I wasn't sure what our relationship would look like moving forward. She seemed genuinely remorseful, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I can ever fully trust her again. I feel like I'm losing my entire family over this, and I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to confront my parents again, demand that they stop treating Amanda like she's the only one who matters. But another part of me just wants to walk away from all of it and never look back. Reddit, I'm more confused than ever. How do I move forward from this? Do I confront my parents again, or do I just let it go and focus on building a life without them? I'm so angry and hurt, but I don't know if I have the energy to keep fighting. Update 3. Hey Reddit, I'm back with another update, and things have escalated in ways I never could have imagined. After my last conversation with Amanda, I decided to confront my parents one last time. I needed to get everything out in the open and figure out if there was any way to salvage our relationship, or if I was truly done with them. I went over to their house unannounced, which I know probably wasn't the best idea, but I was so angry and frustrated that I couldn't wait any longer. When I got there, I told them everything Amanda had confessed to me, that they'd been secretly giving her money for years, bailing her out while pretending everything was fair between us. At first, they tried to downplay it again, saying that Amanda needed more help and that I should be proud of how well I've done on my own. But this time, I didn't let them brush it off. I told them that I was done being treated like I didn't matter, that their favoritism had damaged our family beyond repair, and that they'd betrayed me by hiding this from me for so long. That's when things took an unexpected turn. My mom broke down and admitted that they've always been harder on me because they saw me as stronger. She said they never meant to hurt me, but they thought I didn't need the same kind of support that Amanda did. My dad chimed in, saying that they thought they were doing the right thing by giving Amanda more because she's always struggled, but I could see the guilt on his face. I didn't let them off the hook, though. I told them that their actions had consequences, that they had destroyed my trust in them and that I didn't know if we could ever go back to how things were. They kept apologizing, but at this point, it felt too little, too late. I told them I needed space, that I was cutting off contact for the foreseeable future, and that I'd be focusing on myself for a while. My mom begged me not to go, saying that she didn't want to lose me, but I couldn't stay. I left their house feeling both empowered and devastated. I'm done trying to win their approval. I'm done being the second choice. I'm done pretending like everything's okay when it's not. Now, I'm focusing on rebuilding my life without them. I've moved into a new apartment across town, and I'm working on my mental health with the help of a therapist. It's going to be a long journey, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm putting myself first. Amanda and I haven't spoken since that last conversation. She's texted a few times, but I haven't responded. I don't know if we'll ever be close again, but right now, I'm okay with that. I need time to heal, and I can't do that if I'm constantly reminded of how I've been treated. Thank you again, Reddit, for all your support. Your advice and encouragement have been a lifeline for me, and I don't know where I'd be without this community. I'll keep you updated as I continue this journey, but for now, I'm taking things one day at a time. Final update. I'm back with what I hope will be my final update. It's been a few months since everything came to light, and I've finally reached a place where I feel at peace with my decision to distance myself from my family. After cutting off contact with my parents, I've been focusing entirely on myself, something I haven't done in years. I've been going to therapy regularly, and it's been incredibly helpful in helping me process all the emotions I've been carrying around for so long. For the first time, I'm learning to prioritize my own needs without feeling guilty about it. As for my relationship with Amanda, I've decided to go no contact for now. She's reached out a few times, apologizing again and saying she wants to make things right, but I'm not ready to let her back into my life. I know she's struggling with her own issues, but I need time to heal, and I can't do that if I'm constantly being pulled back into the toxicity of our family dynamic. My parents, on the other hand, have been a mixed bag. My mom has sent a few tearful messages, asking me to come back and talk things out, but I haven't responded. My dad has been more silent, which isn't surprising. He's never been great at dealing with emotions. I think they're finally starting to realize the extent of the damage their favoritism has caused, but at this point, it's up to them to figure out how to make amends. I'm not going to chase after their approval anymore. I've been making new friends, reconnecting with old ones, and focusing on my career. It's been a liberating experience, and while it's been painful to distance myself from my family, I know it was the right decision for me. I'm finally learning to value myself and my accomplishments, and I refuse to let anyone, family or not, make me feel like I'm not good enough. Thank you, Reddit, for all your support throughout this journey. Your advice, encouragement, and tough love have helped me more than I can express. I'm closing this chapter of my life and focusing on building a future that's centered around my own happiness and well-being. Take care, everyone.